History does not weep for the man who chooses poorly. There is no applause. No second chances. Only a quiet unraveling, steady and irreversible. By the time most men recognize the gravity of their mistake, it's too late. They're already mourning the death of their own potential, not because they lacked strength, but because they allowed the wrong woman past the gates of their life, never noticing the match she held in her hand. No one warns you. Not your mother. Not your friends. And certainly not society, because your ignorance serves its interests. But Machiavelli understood. He knew that the downfall of great men was rarely destiny. It was choice, reckless, seductive, and avoidable. While today's culture sells men fairy tales, love, loyalty, ride or die, Machiavelli offered something far more valuable, truth. Men judge generally more by the eye than by the hand. Everyone sees what you appear to be, few experience what you really are. Most men are led by what they see. But the wise man sees deeper. He looks past beauty, charm, and performance. He studies her values, her habits, her self-control, not during the act, but in moments of silence, when she thinks no one's watching. Let's begin with an uncompromising law. There are only two types of women, those who elevate your life, and those who drain it. Not, maybe. Not, she's trying. Not, it's complicated. She either adds value or extracts it, slowly, subtly, completely. And here's the brutal truth, many modern women have mastered the art of appearing beneficial while living parasitically. They flatter your ambition while gently derailing it. They praise your strength while quietly undermining it. And if you're not sovereign, you'll call it love. This isn't about bitterness, it's about strategy. Because if you don't become clear-eyed in your choosing, you'll bleed under the banner of commitment. Machiavelli warned. He who seeks to deceive will always find someone willing to be deceived. The man who chooses beauty over substance has already surrendered, he just hasn't felt the consequences yet. The danger isn't the woman. It's your lack of discernment. In a world that worships surface and ignores depth, many men fall for the appearance of value while walking past the real thing. Machiavelli didn't write for lovers. He wrote for rulers. And a ruler never opens his gates to emotion disguised as opportunity. A destructive woman doesn't need to shout. She only needs to steer you away from your purpose. She'll erode your fire by making you explain it. Dull your discipline by calling it extreme. And before long, you've traded your throne for her comfort. The wise man sees this illusion, a weapon hidden behind beauty and praise. And when he looks at a woman, he doesn't ask, is she attractive? He asks, can she stand beside my mission without trying to control it? That's the question. And most men don't ask until they've already lost everything. Here's the next law. Never choose a woman who disrespects masculine authority. It doesn't matter how sweet her voice or beautiful her smile, if she competes with your leadership rather than complements it, walk away. If she questions your direction without insight, move on. If she sees your strength as a threat, not a refuge, she's not your partner. She's a storm in disguise. Machiavelli understood power. He knew that those who don't protect it become slaves to those they fail to vet. You think you can manage her chaos. You think compromise will create peace. You think love will fix it. It won't. Because once you choose her, the power is hers, by your surrender. You gave it away, wrapped in words like compromise, understanding, and equality. But Machiavelli knew better. It is far safer to be feared than loved, if you cannot be both. This isn't about cruelty. It's about commanding respect. A man who cannot earn a woman's respect will never hold her loyalty. She will test your boundaries to find your spine. If she finds none, she will resent you. She won't leave. She'll stay long enough to dismantle you. And when she's done, she'll whisper, you changed. No, you crumbled. And she watched. You've been taught that masculinity must be soft, that leadership must be shared, that real strength means compromise. But Machiavelli warned. Once power is negotiated, it's lost. A woman will never respect a man who apologizes for being a man. She might smile. She might nod. But inside, she knows, he bends. And once she knows that, she no longer values you. Even the most modern woman desires a man she cannot move. This doesn't require unkindness, just clarity. Clarity in your expectations. Clarity in your vision. Clarity in your standards. If she can manipulate you with tears, seduce you out of discipline, or argue her way past your boundaries, you're not her man. You're her puppet. Her placeholder. Her soft project, until someone solid shows up. Loyalty doesn't come from love. It comes from being a man who cannot be moved. Here's your third commandment. Watch how she handles boredom. Any woman can be charming when the gifts are flowing and the attention is constant. But when the thrill fades, does she create calm, or manufacture chaos? That's when her truth emerges. A woman addicted to emotional stimulation will sabotage stability. She'll destroy your focus the moment life requires stillness or sacrifice. You need a woman who can thrive in peace, not one who sparks conflict just to feel alive. Then there's the myth you've been fed. Her past doesn't matter. You're insecure if you care. Machiavelli would laugh. He knew. The promise given was necessary for then, the promise broken is necessary for now. Her past is your future. A woman who has betrayed others won't start fresh with you, she'll simply refine her methods. If her history is chaos, expect nothing less. Don't ignore patterns. Don't excuse betrayal because she smiles. Next law. Never link your legacy to a woman who mocks your mission. You are, or should be, a man with purpose. And a man of purpose does not chase lust. He chooses alignment. If she disrespects your ambition. If she dismisses your goals. If she glorifies attention but laughs at discipline. She is not your ally. She is your liability. A restless woman doesn't just crave attention, she manufactures disorder when the spotlight dims. When the highs fade, she becomes the storm. That restlessness often fuels infidelity and sabotage, masked as spontaneity. Machiavelli would call it what it is. An undisciplined soul. A threat to any man with direction. If you ignore this, she won't destroy you dramatically. She'll do it subtly. Withholding support, sowing doubt, and resenting your purpose. And then there's her past, again. You've been told it doesn't matter. That's a lie. A woman who bounces from man to man isn't seeking depth, she's chasing novelty. She doesn't need healing. She needs standards, and you are not her therapist. You're the next chapter in her pattern, unless you enforce a new standard. Don't listen to her promises. Study her patterns. Because the woman who mocks your mission will one day mock your downfall, and call it growth. And here's the truth most men avoid. If she doesn't fear losing you, she'll never value you. A woman who believes she has you no matter what will eventually resent you. Why? Because what comes easy is worth little. Machiavelli understood. Men should be either caressed or crushed. There is no middle ground. Women do the same. If she can't lose you, she will control you. If she fears losing you, she will respect you. This isn't manipulation, it's frame. The man who is willing to walk away always has power. And no woman admires a man who surrenders it for peace. Stop rewarding disrespect. Stop begging for loyalty. Stop shrinking to avoid solitude. Machiavelli didn't write for soft men. He wrote for kings. And kings don't explain their worth. They protect it. They test. They choose. Not by emotion, but by principle. Which leads us to the next commandment. Choose the woman who sharpens your discipline, not softens it. The wrong woman will tempt you to skip workouts, ignore boundaries, laugh at your focus. She'll call it love. But it's betrayal. Because the right woman doesn't beg you to relax. She dares you to remain relentless. A woman who doesn't fear losing you will never treasure what she has. She may say she loves you. She may even mean it. But without the silent tension, the awareness that you will walk if disrespected, she drifts into entitlement. Or contempt. Women test for confirmation. Not to be cruel, but to answer the question. Is he real? If you flinch, she knows. If you fold, she owns you. And a man who can't walk away cannot lead. Machiavelli knew this long before psychology caught up. Respect is rooted in consequence, not in cruelty, but in clarity. If a woman can stay while disrespecting your values, you're not her king. You're her jester. And history is full of jesters who loved too gently, and lost everything. Conclusion: the age of the sovereign man. History is not kind to the man who forgets his nature. Not because he didn't dream. Not because he didn't love. But because he forgot the cost of misplaced loyalty, and the silent violence of choosing poorly. You've just walked through a series of laws that Machiavelli himself would whisper into the ear of any man attempting to build a legacy. Not a life of comfort, but a kingdom. And a kingdom, no matter how high its walls or gold its floors, can crumble overnight when the wrong woman is allowed to sit beside the throne. It's time to face the truth. You live in a world that encourages your blindness, rewards your softness, and glorifies your surrender. It sells you the fantasy of unconditional love, while hiding the fact that most love today is highly conditional, especially when it benefits her and costs you. The truth? If you do not choose with strategy, you will bleed from emotion. Let's be clear, this isn't about fearmongering. This is about war. Yes, war. Because when a man commits to a woman, he's inviting her into the most sacred territory of his life, his mind, his routine, his energy, his drive, his destiny. And that invitation should never be casual. It should never be emotional. It should never be made because of lust, loneliness, or a temporary high. A woman is either fuel or friction. She is either a multiplier or a saboteur. And most men, blinded by beauty, starved of validation, or deceived by culture, don't learn this until it's too late. But you are not most men. Not anymore. Because now, you've seen the truth, love without strategy is suicide. Let that sink in. A man who does not lead with discernment will always confuse desire with compatibility. He will mistake tolerance for loyalty. He will hear, "I love you," and think it means, "I'll build with you," when in reality, it often means, "I love how you make me feel right now." Machiavelli didn't write about women in the modern sense. But he understood human nature, especially how easily people are led astray by pleasure, by appearances, by fantasy. And women, though essential, powerful, and worthy of reverence when aligned, are also one of the greatest sources of destruction when chosen without wisdom. Your love is not a gift for the untested. Your protection is not a free commodity. And your loyalty must be earned, not assumed. The sovereign man understands this. He does not hate women. He studies them. He observes her in stillness, not in seduction. He pays attention to her habits, not her highlight reel. He listens not to what she says when she's happy, but what she does when she's bored, challenged, or told no. Because how a woman responds to discipline will tell you more about her character than any romantic moment ever could. If she mocks your mission, if she weakens your edge, if she disrespects your leadership, she is not confused. She is showing you the truth. And your failure to act on that truth? That's not love. That's self-betrayal. You were not built to be ruled by emotional chaos. You were not built to negotiate your standards just to keep a woman around. You were not built to be domesticated by convenience and called a good man while your purpose dies quietly in the background. You were built for order, for vision, for legacy. And a woman who cannot align with that doesn't need to be fixed. She needs to be dismissed. Harsh? Maybe. Necessary? Absolutely. Because once you allow a woman to alter your frame, once you lower your standards in exchange for temporary peace, once you teach her that tantrums change your direction, you are no longer leading. You are following her emotional weather. And no empire survives that. So what now? What do you do with this knowledge? You do what rulers do, you build differently. You create a life so rich in discipline, so clear in direction, that any woman who enters your world must level up just to stay in it. You build your body, not for vanity, but to carry the weight of command. You master your emotions, not to be cold, but to be unshakable. You craft your mission, not to impress women, but to build something that transcends them. And when you do choose, when you finally open the gates of your kingdom, it won't be for beauty alone. It won't be for validation. It won't be because you're tired of being alone. It will be because she has proven herself worthy of access, not by what she says, but by how she supports, aligns, and multiplies your vision. A real woman doesn't soften your edge. She polishes it. She doesn't compete with your power. She respects it. She doesn't try to tame your fire. She tends to it. And if she cannot do those things, no matter how beautiful, how sweet, how convincing, she must go. Because you only get one life. One mission. One legacy. And history, as we said, has no sympathy for the man who chooses poorly. So protect your crown. Lead with discernment. Love with eyes wide open. Test before you trust. And never forget. You are the prize. You are the one building the kingdom. You are the one carrying the weight. You are the one sacrificing your youth, your sleep, your blood for a dream. Do not hand the keys of that dream to someone who neither understands nor respects the cost. Let the world call you harsh. Let them say you're too selective. Let them call it toxic, cold, or cruel. Let them. Because the man who bows to the noise of the crowd will die in the silence of regret. But the man who lives by law, clear, ancient, unapologetic, will rise above the ruins of modern weakness and reclaim the throne that was always his to take. This is your time. The age of the sovereign man has returned. And only the disciplined, the discerning, and the unshakable will survive it. Choose wisely. Or be chosen by your downfall.